What if Hannibal had marched on Rome after Cannae? 50,000 Roman soldiers died in a single afternoon. Hannibal's own cavalry commander begged him to ride for Rome immediately. 5 days, he said. Hannibal could be dining inside the Senate. Hannibal said no. That single refusal has been argued over for 2,000 years. Today we're running the actual numbers on what would have happened if he'd said yes. The case for marching. Right after Cannae, Rome was in genuine panic. Livy himself describes the city bracing for an attack that never came. Here's how far that panic actually went. The Senate ordered 2 couples buried alive in the city's cattle market. 1 Gallic couple, 1 Greek couple, as an offering to whichever god might save Rome. Livy himself calls the ritual foreign to everything Rome normally believed in. Public mourning was capped by law at 30 days, just to keep the city functioning. This was not a city bluffing. This was a city that thought it might actually fall. Maharbal's argument was simple: hit them now, before Rome can regroup. Speed had won every battle so far. Trebia, Lake Trasimene, Cannae. Why would speed suddenly stop working the one time it mattered most? The other side of this argument. Not every historian agrees marching was a mistake. Some argue Hannibal's caution here was actually his biggest error of the entire war. Their case is simple: Rome's government was in genuine chaos, and chaos doesn't last. Every day Hannibal waited gave Roman leadership time to recover its nerve. A direct march, in this view, wasn't about winning a siege at all. It was about walking straight into the psychological collapse Maharbal could already see happening. Even Hannibal's own officers were split on this in the days after the battle. So which side is right? To answer that, you actually have to look at the numbers Hannibal was facing. The problem Rome's own size created. Here's the number Hannibal actually had to solve. Rome's population was somewhere around 400,000 people. Even if only a quarter of them picked up a weapon, that's roughly 100,000 defenders. After Cannae, Hannibal's own infantry was a fraction of that, and it was exhausted after 3 hours of killing. Rome's answer to the disaster tells you everything about what Hannibal was actually up against. The Senate lowered the minimum age for the draft. It enlisted criminals and debtors who normally couldn't serve at all. It purchased 8,000 slaves at public expense, armed them, and promised freedom for bravery. Carthage never had a system like this to fall back on. Rome did. He also had no siege towers, no rams, nothing built to break Roman walls. And Rome sat on a river connected to the sea. Ships could still bring in food during a siege. A blockade doesn't work on a city that can still be fed by water. The distance problem. Cannae to Rome is roughly 250 miles. That's not a 5-day walk for an exhausted army. Not after they'd just fought a 3-hour battle in August heat. By the time Hannibal's men reached the walls, days would have passed. The panic Maharbal wanted to exploit would already be gone. Rome would have used every one of those days to arm citizens and reinforce gates. The Caesar comparison. There's actually a real example of a general marching straight on Rome. It happened 167 years later, and it worked. In 49 BC, Julius Caesar crossed the Rubicon with a single legion. He marched directly toward Rome, and barely anyone tried to stop him. Pompey and most of the Senate simply abandoned the city and fled to Greece. No siege, no battle at the gates. The government just evacuated. Why did that work when marching on Rome after Cannae wouldn't have? Rome's political system in 49 BC was already broken from the inside. Decades of civil conflict had hollowed out any unified will to resist. In 216 BC, that same system was still intact, panicked but functioning. The Senate could still order troops raised, walls guarded, slaves armed. Caesar wasn't beating an army, he was walking into a vacuum. Hannibal, in 216 BC, would have been walking into the opposite. A government bruised and terrified, but still fully capable of fighting back. What historians actually think would have happened? Most modern historians land in roughly the same place. A siege of Rome likely fails or drags on for months Hannibal couldn't afford. His one real advantage over Rome was always speed and surprise. A siege trades that advantage away. It hands the fight to the side with more men, more walls, and more time. So Hannibal picked the other option, bleed Rome's alliance system instead of its capital. Convince Rome's Italian allies to defect, one city at a time. Strangle Rome's manpower at the source instead. This wasn't just theory. It actually worked, at least at first. Capua, one of Italy's biggest cities, defected to Hannibal right after Cannae. He used it as his winter base for years afterward. Rome finally recaptured Capua in 211 BC and made a brutal example of it. Capua's leaders were executed. Much of the population was sold into slavery. No other Italian city ever defected to Hannibal again. Even during all of this, Rome still had separate armies fighting in Spain and Sicily. Carthage could barely keep the one army in Italy fed and supplied. What actually happened instead? Rome adopted the opposite strategy: avoid open battle, follow Hannibal, cut his supplies, and slowly retake the cities that had defected. The general behind this plan was Quintus Fabius Maximus. Romans nicknamed him the Delayer, and they did not mean it as a compliment. For years, crowds mocked him for refusing to fight the man who beat them at Cannae. It was slow, it was unpopular, it worked anyway. But it also came at a brutal cost. Hannibal spent 15 years loose in Italy, and he used every one of them. Roughly 400 towns were destroyed across the Italian countryside during that time. In 207 BC, Hannibal's brother Hasdrubal tried to march reinforcements from Spain to join him. He was intercepted and killed at the Metaurus before he ever arrived. Hannibal learned his brother was dead when a Roman soldier threw his severed head into camp. By then, a young general named Scipio wanted to end the war a different way. Invade Carthage's home territory directly and force Hannibal to defend it instead of Italy. The man who blocked him in the Senate was Fabius Maximus himself. The same general who had saved Rome now argued this plan was reckless overreach. Scipio got permission anyway, barely, and with almost no support from the state. No extra legions, limited funding. If it failed, the blame was entirely his. Part of his army was built from volunteers, including survivors of Cannae looking for redemption. In 202 BC, Scipio met Hannibal himself at Zama, on Carthage's own ground. Scipio had studied every battle Hannibal ever fought. He built wide lanes into his own formation, wide enough for elephants to run straight through, without touching a soldier. Loud horns and shouting soldiers panicked the elephants further. Some stampeded straight back into their own lines. Scipio also had something else Hannibal didn't, an alliance with the Numidian king Massinissa. That alliance handed Rome the stronger cavalry for the first time in the entire war. He used Hannibal's own double envelopment against him, and won. The actual answer. So, could 5 days of marching have ended the war at Cannae? The numbers say almost certainly not. Rome's population alone could have outmanned Hannibal's exhausted army 3-1. And that's before a single wall was even breached. Hannibal understood that math better than his own cavalry commander did. He won more battles than almost any general in history. And he still lost the war. Because one afternoon of brilliance couldn't undo the size of the empire standing behind that army. There's one more piece of this that explains everything. After Cannae, Hannibal's brother Mago went home to ask Carthage for reinforcements. He dumped a pile of gold rings taken from dead Roman nobles onto the Senate floor. As proof of the victory, a senator named Hanno, an old political rival of Hannibal's own family, still said no. He'd never supported this war, and Cannae didn't change his mind. Hannibal never got the reinforcements he needed for the rest of the war. Rome could arm slaves, criminals, and old men, and still field an army. Carthage, thousands of miles from home, couldn't even reliably resupply the one army it already had. One side's own government sabotaged its best general. The other side's government armed its own slaves to survive. That's the real lesson underneath this entire what-if. Tactics decide battles. Systems decide wars. Subscribe to Battlepedia and hit the bell. Drop a comment. Do you think Maharbal was right, or was Hannibal? I read every single one. See you next week.